All right, test 1, 2, test 1, 2. me. What to do, everybody? All right. All right. Let's get it going then. Let me turn all this crap off over here. Blah, 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 blah. How's it going, everybody? Good Friday evening to you. Oh, thought I'd come on and give a little update here for those who may be interested, and hopefully you're interested. First and foremost, sure everything's here. We're out here and appreciate you tuning in. This is I don't always do live broadcasts or anything else like that, but let me try to figure out how to get myself centered up here. There we are. So yeah, it's Friday evening, and I went out to go see the new Avatar movie. That's right, James Camron decided not to wait an entire, what are we going to call it, decade in between Avatar movies this time. He just waits 3 or 4. And we're here to talk about whether or not we should have maybe we'll see because with the future of Avatar, even before this movie came out, you really started seeing James Camron talk a whole bunch about not for nothing, but maybe I won't be doing more Avatar movies or something like that. And it's like, he could. As always with these Avatar movies, and this isn't a spoiler at all, but they end with a very much like, hey, this is the cemented end here. If it ended here, it would be fine. But there is a door open to the future if indeed someone wanted to continue down that hallway, as it were, to continue on with that metaphor. But this is kind of the same way. There's like, if indeed he wanted to do more, he certainly could. But if he also said, I don't really feel like doing these anymore, it's so much work. And that's what he definitely could say. He leaves it open, or he leaves the door to close, or for someone else to walk through, I suppose, as well. But we'll get into all of that kind of good stuff and everything and more. My dog is drinking like a mother over here. It is wild and crazy. Do me a big giant favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate that. And remember, this podcast streams normally on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern. This week, we're covering the greatest movie of all time. Well, it's one of the greatest movies. It's one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. That's right. It's Gremlins from 1984. Joe Dante's seminal 80s masterpiece. I love that movie. I can't wait to talk about it. I've been listening to the audio commentaries and stuff like that. So we're going to have a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about as we lead up here into Christmas and everything. And do me the biggest of Christmas favors and hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. And hit that bell notifications for moments just like this, because I didn't tell anybody that we were doing this. I just said, hey, I want to talk about this new Avatar movie because I went to go see it. And I feel we got to talk about it at least a little bit here. But before we do that, I want to give you a little bit of an idea for those of you that may not have listened to Hero Movie Podcast in our Volume 1, HMP Volume 1, where we did over 600 episodes of superhero movies and television shows and stuff. Really like 600 episodes, 10 plus years of all that kind of good stuff. So we reviewed a buttload of things. And one of those movies was Avatar in Volume 1. So I have actually got up my audio, I ripped off a segment from Joe Bob Briggs. I don't really tell anybody about this. You guys are going to be the first ones to hear it. But when I revamped part of this in the later days of HMP, I stole it from Joe Bob Briggs. He's basically, when he would be breaking down the drive-in totals and stuff like that, I more or less kind of aped a version of that, but breaking down the entire movie as we saw it here and everything. So I'm going to do that because in a lot of ways, they kind of align. But they also will catch you up to all of the Avatar lore. If and you have never seen an Avatar film, you'll kind of get an idea based upon what we talk about in this Avatar 2. What did I call this segment? It's already kind of gone out of the mind and stuff like that. It was like, well, if you're ready for this kind of thing, so let me I'll hip you to my my Avatar 1, or excuse me, Avatar 2 rather. Pardon me. Let me get the right one here. Avatar 2 preview. Well, if that wasn't enough, let me sell everybody on this over decade in the making sequel, because this sucker's got everything. We open up with an hour-long last time on Avatar, and that's only kind of a joke. We got Jake Sully now with 5,000% more acting. Neytiri is back, and she doesn't have to carry the whole movie this time. Characters you thought were dead, not in a James Camron movie, baby. Bing, bang, boom. Sigourney Weaver and Stephen Lang are dead, and they've both decided to act this time around, which was nice. But if you thought James Camron turned a new leaf and is only directing good acting, how wrong you were. Edie Falco comes in the most embarrassing role of her career. Sheesh.
That's saying something if you're familiar with her filmography.
My God. But never you mind that. We got soaring through the eye on sky dragon birds. We got swimming through the ocean on dragonfish. We got catfish whales with tribal tattoos. Okay, sure. Crazy sea lives, kids being kids, mech suits, spider robots, which oddly the kid named Spider never pilots. Oh, yeah, there's a white kid named Spider who has dreadlocks and is the progeny of Stephen Lang's character from the first movie, who is now in the body of an avatar from a convicted felon, or some such nonsense that James Cameron came up. You expected at this point, though. Kate Winslet still looking kind of hot as a fish lady. I think I might have a problem. We've got Earth, Fire, Wind, Water. That's right. This counts as a Captain Planet episode and community service. You've spent nearly 3.5 hours with this movie and walk away with, well, we'll see. This movie has everything, or does it? That was my kind of little intro to Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Is that what it was called? And so that was kind of my opinion and all of that. And part of that also was to give you an idea of kind of what, essentially the first two Avatar movies were about. This third movie, guess what? It's very much the exact same thing. That can be a good thing and a bad thing. It can be a good thing if you really enjoy the first two movies. If you really hated those first two movies, you're not going to get much different here. But I will say one thing that is wildly different is kind of who the lead of this film is. This is what I was not expecting here, and we'll get into it. But ladies and gentlemen, this isn't an Avatar movie. This is a Spider movie. This kid, these sons of bitches backdoored in Spider the movie. The kid I was ragging on about, the white kid with dreadlocks who's going around in a loincloth the entire film, does not change this film. Actually, so much so that he does have clothes on at one point, but he's like, I got to get these off, and then just strips off. He goes back to default mode here, which has got to be weird as an actor, too, is that you're just kind of going like, well, got to get down to my skivvies every day here. Seems a little bit odd. Let's get into it before I kind of jump the gun here and everything. Here is the IMDb plotline. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. Jake and Neytiri's family... Let me start over. Jake and Neytiri's family grapples with grief after, I'm going to screw up every one of these people's names, so we'll just give it a shot. Neytiri's death, encountering a new aggressive Na'vi tribe, the Ash people, who were led by the fiery Vanang, sure. As the conflict on Pandora escalates and a new moral focus emerges. IMDb, absolute ass. It's stumbly, bumbly, and it's bad enough that it's me, but my God, this is directed by James Cameron, written by James Cameron and about 15 other people. The way that it was all kind of written there, I'd have to kind of look at it again to see, but ungodly amount of names. So that's both a good thing and a bad thing. This is starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana's Oscar winner, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, Una Chaplin, Kate Winslet, Cliff Curtis, Joel David Moore, CCH Pounder, Edie Falco is back. Is it worse than last time? We'll talk about it. Brendan Carroll, Jermaine Clement, Giovanni Ribisi is back, as well as David Willis. We got a whole bunch of people up in here. And so, yeah, man, there's a lot of the same coming back for the good old, and the old Avatar here. And again, I'm not going to talk too much about spoilers or anything else like that. I'm just going to kind of give you my vibe on the movie, what I thought in kind of the future of where I think these Avatar movies might end up going. If in this movie either takes off or doesn't, I don't know. Let me real fast here because I'm a little bit curious. I did not look this up ahead of time. Let me see if they have any numbers at all on. Fire. Let me see if they, I don't know if they, so they made $43 million on, no, that's international. I'm sorry. I'm about to say, if they made $43 million on a Thursday, something's going wrong because ain't no movie done that. And I can't remember a damn time. I'll tell you that much. But here's the thing. This is, what I said about the last Avatar movie and everything, Avatar 2, The Way of Water, sure. When that comes in, they literally give you like an hour-long version of kind of, hey, last time on Avatar. That is almost that first hour of that movie is just kind of getting you back into the Avatar universe because it had been a decade since the last movie had come out. Well, this movie comes out and it does not hold your hand in one way at all, just at all. It does not hold your hand at all. And but curiously enough, because I went to this movie with my dad and my nephew, and my nephew had never seen an Avatar movie at all. He followed it well enough. Like, he didn't understand everything, obviously. Couldn't tell you that, people were once human at one point, kind of, but like not really. It's like one of those, like, it would sound like somebody who was drunk trying to retell a story to you. You'd be like, oh, I kind of get what you're talking about, but you're not making a whole lot of sense. That's what he would kind of give you back on this movie. And that's what this whole movie is. It is, here's the biggest problem, ladies and gentlemen. This movie is long, and it's James Camron long. And that's to say it is, what do we say here on the IMDb? Let me look again. 3 hours and 17 minutes. That's a pip. That's a pip, and I'm not going to lie to you. There's a ton of stuff that you could take out of here, and it would make everything flow better and move faster. And it is kind of one of those things that, like, it's very cool that James Cameron does what he does. And I'm going to get into the good stuff. Don't get me wrong. But James Cameron does not know how to edit anymore, or he has no one around him to. What are we doing, pal? But he doesn't have anybody around him to tell him kind of no or anything anymore. I don't think. I think they're just like, yeah, Jim, whatever you want to do, Jim, sure. But, please tell us what to do. But overall, though, I felt, let's start here. With the first Avatar movie, I thought it was an interesting film. I thought that, the technology and everything behind it was something that was interesting. But the story itself, kind of lacking. Didn't really have it there. A lot of hammy acting and stuff like that. But, you forgive a lot because you got all the, the cat face people and all that kind of bull crap. But the second movie kind of turned me around on all of it. The second movie came in and I thought it was a far, far better film. It kind of like, it took all the junk, and like that first hour was kind of what that first Avatar movies more or less needed to be. It was just about an hour and then get into the, the meat of the good stuff here. And that's why, oddly enough, Avatar Fire and Ash feels a lot like Empire Strikes Back, in as much as when it ends, and again, like I said, it ends in an up enough note that if you wanted to end it forever, you could, but it does end on like a solemn kind of, for lack of a better word, Empire Strikes Back kind of ending. And they were just like, okay, this is going to be kind of that's weird for the third flick to have that sort of ending. But again, it's in a weird and odd way. I almost don't count that first Avatar movie because it feels like that was almost a tech demo trailer for what he wanted to do. And it's like, it was a 3 hour, like, here's here's the crib notes for the that was his Silmarillion, if you will, for Avatar. That was just what he was showing you, that like this is where it all kind of came from, and now we're going to get to the meat and bones of it in, you know, episodes 2 and 3, as it were, and then maybe 4, 5, and 6, depending upon what James Cameron wants to do. But we'll talk about that in just a sec. But let's before we get into like the super meat and potatoes of everything, I just want to say the things that I do like about it. First and foremost, James Cameron still can direct the hell out of some action. Boy, oh boy, do I wish more directors had this sense of direction in action. It would change everything so much. And the shots are so clear, you can see where things are. And I saw things in 3D, so I went the full gamut for everything. So it was like the laser projection, 3D, Dolby Atmos, and all that kind of jazz. So I went for the full docket here and everything. James Cameron himself would be proud, I would imagine. But it looks fantastic. It looks unbelievable, and nobody's making a movie that looks anywhere close to this. And honestly, I think if CGI today, CGI today in all movies deserves to look like it does in this movie. This movie is where like CGI should be, frankly, across the board. It should all look this good. I know that that's going to, you know, break some brains and say, but the people are already overtaxed to begin with, and perhaps they are. Maybe we should be making less of these movies, but making them far more quality. Maybe that's something Hollywood might want to entertain for a change. Who's to say? But overall, it was a joy to look at, as per usual. It was really, really great. On the other hand, you have a James Cameron and many, many others. But the first name that is credited on the list, ergo the one who is responsible for most of the story, is James Cameron. I think he even gets a story by James Cameron credit. So he even gets his own separate credit, and then he's first within the screenplay and stuff too. So again, he's the one kind of mostly responsible for everything. And there's moments where it feels very I wondered what I would actually name this poster that you see here in the corner, the spider movie, because before we really started getting around the spider, like purposely centering around the spider character and everything, I was going to call this Avatar Fire and Ash, or Bro the Movie. If you want to have the most intense drinking game in your entire life, watch this Fire and Ash movie, and every time someone says bro, take a shot. You will be dead before the second act is out. It is astounding. I think that is what Jim Cameron just goes like, yeah, bro. Just call him bro. Like Ali G doesn't say bro nearly as much as multiple characters in this film. Just bro here, bro. You will never not hear it. It's like being in a middle school. It's unbelievable. Just kids saying bro everywhere. Now, granted, they're kids in the thing, and that's fine and whatever. But I like, you know, we're a gajillion light years away here on Avatar Planet. The least you can do is come up with another word other than bro. Just saying. But there's a lot of family. And again, now granted, when they were first saying bro, it was the two brothers at the beginning and everything, and they were just like, they were really going brother. I think the audience must have been so dumb in pre-screenings and stuff that they were like, we got to nail home these guys are brothers. I know that's the problem. All the Na'vi look the same, right? So you don't know who's related or nothing like that, because you're just like, is this person related to this person? He's blue. And you don't want to feel like you're racist because he's like, well, he's a slightly different blue than that one. Maybe that's not, I don't know for nothing. But all the kids are the same. Everybody looks the same, and they all look like miniature Jake Sullys. They're all the same. They're all the same thing. Like, there's cool and interesting designs everywhere in this, but when it comes to character design, they really just bite the bullet on. Now, some of them are unique and interesting enough to where you go like, oh, it's this guy. Oh, it's that guy. You never remember their names. The only name that you will ever remember in any of these Avatar movies is Jake Sully, because they say Jake Sully a billion friggin' times. This movie, no different. But again, no different than the last film, though. I got to say, Sam Worthington is doing fantastic. He really is. He's doing great with material that is not really great. It's not really well written kind of stuff. That is James Cameron's biggest problem, is that he can direct the hell out of a movie. He can get some pretty good, interesting performances out of actors and whatnot. Actors that many of us would have considered, quite wooden actors and stuff like that, but gotten great performances out of them. But sometimes it doesn't all work. But the sense of flight and everything when we're going through the air on all of our Skybirds and stuff like that, still very much fun. But again, it gets to the point where you just kind of go, let's get going, let's get rolling. All the performances are fine. Stephen Lang is back. It is just kind of a continuation of what we got before here and everything, and the revelations that we learned previously about how this Spider Kid turns out is the progeny of Stephen Lang. We talked about that, right? So in this movie, he's kind of following him and whatnot. There's a weird kind of MacGuffin that they start at the beginning where it's all about this, Spider's oxygen mask that you see him wearing all throughout the first film. So he's wearing this mask and whatnot. And like the battery starts going low, or he starts getting like low amounts of oxygen or whatever. And they're like, oh, we got to get another mask and stuff. They act like it's the first week with him in this mask. It's just like you've had this kid for years. And it seems a little bit weird. Seems a little bit weird that you would just kind of not have this. And like they start having the conversation of like, maybe he shouldn't be with us. Maybe because this air is toxic to him, he should not be living here. And we only have so much of this. Maybe you should have had this conversation years ago. Maybe when he was a little child, be like, hey, by the way, we need to get this kid the hell out of here. He's a small child that can't breathe our air. Go home, little child. Go home. And he don't want to go home with this. So he's like, I want to stay. And what? Choke to death on the atmosphere, you moron? Okay. But that's where things shift in this movie, and they shift in a way that I could have never imagined. And it is exactly as you see here in the in my little graphic. It is Spider the movie. Spider is ultimately the Jake Sully character, if you will, of this movie. I never thought I'd see the day, dude. I laughed at the Spider character. I thought he was stupid. I thought his line readings were awful in that last movie. And I got news for you, boys and girls. It's no different in this movie. They're still pretty bad. They're still pretty corny. There's some moments. He's got a couple of moments here and there where you go like, oh, look, there's a little bit of an actor sneaking out almost. And then he just kind of goes and ruins it again. It's not great. It's not great performances. But at the end of the day, I actually don't blame him. I blame James Cameron. I blame James Cameron for not only his performance, but for casting him in the first place and writing this character in the first place. I don't know what the point of it is. It's never really fun. And the Spider character is an idiot. And he's kind of a pain in the ass. He's a little bit of a hop along. Now, granted, he's a positive spirit. He's always out there raring to go. But what's he bringing to the party? He's Spider. He's boring. He's like you are in a world of superhumans who can breathe the oxygen of the planet. You can't do none of those things, and you're just like a tiny little. It's like driving around, like getting a hobbit around there, right? Like, what's the point of this? He's not going to do much damage. But it's Spider's movie, everybody. And some weird things happen. But nothing weirder than, again, now we saw it in the last movie, but we definitely get much more of it in this movie, is Sigourney Weaver is the child, so to speak, of Neytiri and Jake Sully. And yet somehow Sigourney Weaver's character for the first one is also still the mom, but then Sigourney Weaver is doing the voice of it, which is a weird thing looking at a character that's supposed to be like, I would think like a teenager or something, maybe a little bit older, something like that. Maybe like, I always thought she was like 16 to 18, somewhere in that neighborhood. Who could tell they're cat people? But it's weird hearing what we know is, 72-year-old Sigourney Weaver's voice coming out of there. They don't make too much of a difference to kind of change it or anything else like that to really kind of mask it in any way, shape, or form. It is just kind of Sigourney Weaver's voice. But she is acting again. I would imagine that's all kind of the regular motion capture for the face and whatnot, and it's really good. It's weird at moments when you think about who's kind of doing the motion capture and the things that are happening in the scene. But that's acting for you. But overall, we get a couple of rejoinders that we saw, and a couple of people, familiar faces are back. Giovanni Ribisi comes in for a couple of minutes, chews on a little bit of scenery and whatnot. He's as serviceable as he was in the first film. I think he was in the second movie, if I'm not mistaken, but I only really remember him from the first film and him just kind of, he's not nearly in it as much as that. He is in it for a hot second, though. I think there's several characters that are in it just to kind of remind you, like, oh yes, this person is also in the universe. Remember this guy? You remember the Indian guy from Inception? Is he Indian? I don't want to be. I guess maybe I don't know. But there's several of those characters and stuff, and the white guy and the white medical guy and everything, who is kind of in the Avatar and stuff like that as well. Again, you don't get a lot of reminders as to what things were previously, so you are kind of scratching your head going like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that guy. But overall, the movie it's long. The movie is long, despite it being, well shot. It's not well paced at all. It's very long. It's very drawn out. It's very I don't want to say it's over dramatic, but it is just kind of like it's James Cameron-y. It is. It's a little bit of dialogue. I'm never quite sure what James Cameron's actually trying to say in this, if I'm quite honest. There seems to be moments where like I'm trying to suss out what he is saying, like as a writer, because part of you, like if you're thinking that he's like going from the Jake Sully thing, where Jake Sully's kind of like, listen, I know that, our God here and everything has told us that, he's going to provide and all this kind of good stuff. And, that we're going to hope real hard and well for that. But we also know that these guys are coming and we have guns. So I'm going to use these guns because that's what I need. So it seemed like there was a little bit of a push and pull there with, kind of a religious belief system and stuff like that. And it comes and it goes, and it's like it's there and it's not there. It's like it's all encompassing. And then you never really know. But then, Jake Sully never really comes back around full circle and just goes, oh, well, I'm happy to be. He never has his It's a Wonderful Life moment or anything else like that. But it's okay. It's okay. Oh, Edie Falco. Wanted to talk about Edie Falco being back. At least Edie Falco had a very small part in the last film, right? And most of that very embarrassing part was in a giant mech suit thing with a little coffee cup, and it was just absolutely deplorably awful. So bad. It was the thing that took me out of that movie. I'm getting shivers just thinking about it. This time Edie Falco is back. She's not in a big mech suit, and God, you wish she was. You wish she was in a mech suit all day long, boy. She is walking around just looking like any old 73-year-old that's walking around a movie set. She's supposed to play this this hard war-hardened general and stuff like that. She looks like she just finished eating a muffin at craft service. It's not good, gang. It's not good. It's just like, I'm sure she's a lovely person, but she's not the right person for this role. I know they wanted to cast a woman, and maybe they were just like, I don't know, who's a tough lady? That Edie Falco was in Goodfellas. I guess that's the thought process. I don't know. But she's terrible. She's terrible again. But the worst for her is she's terrible, and she's in it a whole bunch. So there's also that. But overall, though, listen, it's like I said at the beginning. I think if you went into the first two Avatar movies and you had any enjoyment with those movies, you will probably have at least that much enjoyment of this film. If not, maybe a little bit more. Maybe you're an Avatar head. Maybe you really, really like those movies. If you do, you're probably really going to like this movie. But if indeed you are, a little sour on the Avatar films, this one's not going to change your mind. This one is going to be exactly the same as the others. You can go ahead and skip this bad boy and save yourself, honest to God, 3.5 hours in the cinema. That's an unbelievably long time to sit and, Listen, but I mean, not that I didn't do it previously. I think I just just last week I went to see Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair. That was like 4 hours, but they at least gave us the common courtesy to give us a 15-minute intermission. You know what I'm saying? This could have thrown a 15-minute intermission in there, and perhaps we would have. And they cut to black several times, as a matter of fact. So they could have dropped in a 5-minute intermission in there sometime, and perhaps we would have come back for the second half, locked and loaded for bear to see what happens. But it feels like a video game, and video games look friggin' fantastic these days, guys. So this does look like a video game in a whole bunch of ways, better than the actual Avatar video game. But, but it looks fantastic, but you do really wish, it's going to spoil you. It's going to spoil you big time, because you're going to go and you're going to see actual full featured films and stuff now and go, ooh, this looks like ass. This looks like absolute crap, because James Cameron kind of spares no expense here. And I feel like he's a director who, when he looks back at it, goes, I want this to look perfect. And if it's not perfect, that's your ass. And I think he's that kind of guy. And I think it shows on screen, because, man, when you are looking at this stuff, it is fantastic looking. And I wish that he would take this fantastic eye that he has, this great ability to do action, and bring that back to something that's kind of real and relevant. But when you hear his conversations about how, hey, if I was shooting Titanic today, I wouldn't shoot it like I shot it then. I'd shoot it, he pretty much says, like he does with Avatar and stuff now. I think the man is overshooting shooting people, outside of a thing that he can control and post and stuff. I think James Cameron suffers from kind of the same thing that George Lucas does, where it's like he likes the kind of editing process, he likes to get into it and everything, but he doesn't like the creative process with you. If you're out of the picture, then everything's fine. He'll deal with you in as much as he actually physically needs you, but once he doesn't need you, that's when he's really happy. That's George Lucas. And I think that's James Cameron as well. Is he's just going to do what he's going to do, and damn anybody think anything else. I thought it was nice at the end where they did a little in memory of John Landau, the longtime producer there of James Cameron and many other people's stuff. I was like, man, that dude died with a bunch of zeros in his pocket. I'll tell you that much. But overall, like I said, Avatar is what it is. You're either going to love it or hate it based upon those previous films. This film is not going to change your way any way, shape, or form. It's either going to enforce or, it's good. Actually, it will. It will enforce your opinion one way or the other, depending upon where you were previously, I think. I don't know that this movie is going to change anyone's mind. I think if you hated the second one, you're certainly not going to like this one. Do with that as you will, everybody. And I'm going to be interested to see what the box office does, because at the end of the day, I think this movie would have to do buku bucks for them to do one more of these. Like I said, I think this is enough of with no spoilers here, this is enough of a finale of this movie that they don't need it. They don't need anything else in there. Why have it? Doesn't matter. And I think that's the case. I think that they need to just kind of stop it here. James Cameron needs to move on, do his own sort of thing, because I can't see a world where we keep doing more of these films. They're fine, they're okay, but again, it's not like watching Lord of the Rings. It's not like watching Star Wars. Not even Star Wars these days. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking Star Wars these days. It's not even really that. It's better looking. I will 1000% tell you that it is better looking than Star Wars has ever looked. I wish Star Wars looked as good as Avatar did. Oh man, how that would look. And again, I just wish James Cameron would do other things. I mean, for example, like I keep mentioning it, but Michael Turner, comic book artist, died a couple years back. He had a book called Fathom that was right up James Cameron's alley. It's all got to do with the, hot ladies, the ocean, people with barnacles on their body and shit like that. It would have been right up James Cameron's alley. I don't know why he didn't jump on that one. Seems like a given. But maybe he'll, I'd like to see him, because Robert Rodriguez directed the Alita Battle Angel. He says he wants another one. So I don't know, maybe he could do it, maybe Rodriguez could do it. Bring that movie back. I enjoyed that flick a lot. But I don't know what James Cameron's doing next. I hope it's something with actual people in it. But I'm afraid that it's not going to be. But after a while, you just gotta kind of realize maybe some of your cinematic heroes and stuff end up moving on and just doing whatever it is they want to do. But it's the realm of the rich guy. I'll definitely say that. Certainly someone that's not rich is me. So please hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And if you really, really like this show, head over to patreon.com/HMP. Join up at any level. And, get on the show. We really appreciate all of our fine Patreon supporters and everything, man. That is it. Let's get a star rating here for it because I want to give you a final. I'm going to say Avatar, Fire and Ash, aka the Spider Movie. I'm just going to give a solid 3 stars, 3 out of 5. I think that's pretty good. I almost went 3.5, but I think ultimately you got to remember that Spider is the kind of main character of this movie. And Spider sucks. It's as simple as that. Spider sucks. And you know what? You don't suck. You don't suck because you stuck around here and you listen to my stupid ass review. And I hope you want to come by Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, to come and listen to our stupid ass review of Gremlins from 1984. Joe Dante, Christopher Columbus, cameo by Dick Miller. What else could you ask for? It's a Christmas miracle. So get your eggnog and join us up here a Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. We really appreciate you. Thanks so much for hanging out and everything, guys. I also do TikTok Trash Tuesdays, where I get on the internet and talk about movie TikToks and stuff that are all kind of TikToks that are all movie related. Let's put it to you that way. So check out that. Check out the main show and everything. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next time. Oh, there we go.